It is week 3, day 1. So you'd click here and you'd make sure that you take today's attendance. The lesson objectives will be posted after this video. This video will be posted just below that. And your assignment would be to click on the Edulastic link here. It's really important that you watch these videos. So hopefully you do. On today's lesson, we're going to start talking about graphs and linear graphs and describing graphs. And so this example wants us to describe what's going on here. It says distance and time on this one. And so for me, when I see it going up like this, it means that the person is going a certain distance over a certain amount of time. They're traveling forward, and then they stay still for a while. Then they travel forward again, and then they go backwards. They stay still for a while. They travel forward. They stay still for a while. They travel backwards. Now, if you look, this one looks just like that one. The only difference is it says speed versus time. So this one, the person's traveling fairly fast. They're stopped. Their speed is increasing. They're stopped, and then their speed increases a little bit, and then they go, their speed slows way down, and then they stop, and then their speed is increasing, and they're not stopped when it's up here. It's that they're going at constant rate of speed. It's the same speed, and then they slow down. So when it's up in the air like this, it makes you want to say stop, but it really means that they're going at constant rate of speed. Looking at this one, it says, what's the slope and y-intercept of each equation? Remember that these equations are written in the form of y equals mx plus b, where m is slope and the b is the y-intercept. So in this case, the b is 2. So the 2 would be graphed first. We graph it right there. We put a little dot on 2. 3 means to go up 3 and over 1 to the right. You could do it again, up 3 over 1 to the right. Then you would use a ruler, and this is going to be hard to do because I just have a mouse, but you would graph this and it would be straight so that it goes up 3 over 1 every time, and it would keep going. The same thing's true for this one. The -1 here, the -1 is the b, so it would go graphed right here. 2/3 means to go up 2 and over 3, up 2 and over 3. Again, you would use a ruler. It's going to be really hard for me to draw a perfectly straight line, but basically it would look something like this. Y equals 2x. There isn't anything after this, so some people are like, well, there's not a b. Well, there is. It's just 0. So you start at 0. 2 means go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. And you can keep doing that. And then you use a ruler. On the computer, it'll automatically graph a straight line for you on iLearn. Unfortunately, the mouse doesn't do that for me. Again, this is written y equals mx plus b, which is called slope-intercept form. So the 2 tells me to start at 2. Always apply the negative to the top number. So -1/4 means go down 1 and over 4 to the right. Down 1 over 4 to the right. And again, mine doesn't draw a straight line, but you want to make sure it's straight. Y equals 4. This one's kind of cool. It's y is 4 there, but there's no slope. That just means it's going to be a straight line across so that it's on that y equals 4 line. And you would have a ruler. Now, when x equals a number, it's going to be x equals -3. Right here's -3 for x. It means that it's going to be a straight up and down line. And if they ask what the slope of this line is, it's undefined. Undefined. And then on the previous problem, if they ask what the slope of it is, it's 0. Now, looking at this, it says decide which of the following points are on the graph of the function y equals 2x plus 1. The easiest way to do this is go, well, here's 1, go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, And you do that all the way across so that you have a straight line. You would graph it. Hopefully it's as straight as possible. I'll try to do the best I can on this one. And so once you have it, you check the points, 0, 1. Well, 0, 1 is right here, right? So that one for sure is. 2, 5. Oh, 2, 5 is right there. That one is. 12, 2. Now we're getting to the point where we don't have enough spots to go up to 12, 2. So we'll skip that one. We'll come back to it in a second. 2, negative 1. Well, 2 negative 1's here, so that one's not going to be it. Negative 1, negative 1, it's right there. That's going to be on there. 0.5 would be halfway, and then down to here. That one's not going to be it. For 12, 2, the only way that you can check is plug in 2 for y and plug in 12 for x. And what you want to do is solve. 2 times 12 is 24, plus 1 is 25. Well, that's not true, so then that means that one's not on the line. And then we've already done, it says find several points on the graph of the function y equals 2x squared plus 1. This is not an 8th grade standard, and we will not be doing this. Anything that has a squared is nonlinear. It means it's going to be a u. Water flows from a faucet into a bathtub at a constant rate. Constant rate is a fancy way of saying that's the slope. It says of water pouring out every 2 minutes. Well, 7 gallons per 2 minutes. This part here is the slope. That's the m. 7 gallons every 2 minutes. I would do 7 over 2 for my slope. The bathtub is initially empty, right? Initially, that's a fancy way of saying y-intercept, or that's where it starts. So wherever something starts, that's the y-intercept. Empty would represent 0. Determine the rule that best describes the volume of the water and the function of the water. Write in a rule as an equation. Y equals, slope is 7 over 2, x, and then plus 0. Or we could just leave it like that. If the tub can hold 50 gallons of water, how long will it take for the tub to fill? Well, all you're going to do is plug in 50 for the x. So 7 halves times 50, and that will be your answer. So you're going to use your Desmos scientific calculator, and you could go 7 divided by 2 times 50 equals 175. So 175 minutes. I only know that it's minutes because right here it says minutes. You're filling a tub with water flowing at the same constant rate, but you started with 8 gallons in the tub. So this way it would be y equals, we keep the same 7.5x, but now, again, start represents the y-intercept. It would be plus 8. And so this time, considering the tub holds 50 gallons of water, how long will it take to fill the tub? So, this is 7.5 gallons, right? We need to get to 50. So one thing that we did up here is, this is actually a mistake. because the y represents the gallons and the x represents minutes. So what we should have done is 50 divided by 7.5. So even teachers make mistakes sometimes. So you would take 50 and you divide it by 7.5, which comes out to be 14 point. Let's see what I say. 14.28 minutes. So the same thing's here. You're going to put 50 in for y and 7.5 over here. X goes here plus 8. Because this now looks like an equation, you solve it just like an equation. You're going to start by taking 50 and subtracting 8. Then you're going to take that answer and you're going to divide it by 7.5. So 12 is our answer. Went the wrong way. Let's see. It says a function has the following properties. It is increasing and linear when the value of x is between -5 and 3. It remains constant when the value of x is between -3 and 0. It is decreasing. So this is just describing what's going to happen, which graph represents this. So look between -5 and -3. Is it increasing? This is, this one is, this one is, this one is. So right now they all could be choices. So that's a choice. It remains constant when it is a value of x between 0 or -3 and 0. This one is constant. It's flat. This one's constant. It's flat. This one's not. This cannot be an answer. This one is. It is decreasing and linear when it is between the value of 0 and 3. So this one is, it's going down. This one's going up, so this one cannot be it. But this one's going down. It is increasing and nonlinear when the value of x is between 3 and 5. This is linear, so this cannot be it. So our only possible answer is D. Compare the two sets of equations below. One set is presented in slope-intercept and the other set is not. How can you tell if an equation is written in slope-intercept form? Honestly, the easiest way to tell that is if it's written y equals. And so like, see how this is y equals and y equals, y equals, y equals. This has a negative sign, so it's not. This has the y and x on the same side, so it's not. This has a 5 on this side, so it's not. This has the x and y on the same side. And then it says choose all that are linear equations. This is a trick because this has nothing to do with these two things. So anything that is written y equals like we would graph it is for sure linear. So on the other hand, anything that has a variable is not. So this one would be as well. Anything that says y equals just a number or x equals just a number would be as well. Now, this one doesn't have a variable and it doesn't really have any fractions in it where the x is on the bottom. So this one would be. This one is not. So it says, what is the slope and y-intercept of each equation? This is something that we did just a second ago. So just remember that y equals mx plus b. B is the y-intercept, so 1 is the y-intercept. M would be up 4 over 1. So, and then you would graph that. I'm going to try to graph it, but it's going to be tough to draw a straight line without a ruler. This would be -1 up to over 5. You would graph it as well. Notice I can't draw a straight line with the mouse. I'm sorry. The b for this one would be 0. -2 touches go down to over 1. X equals -6. We go to -6. That's right here. And then it's just a straight line up and down. says which one does not belong. Write a function that represents the amount of money each person has over time. Identify the slope and y-intercept and explain the meaning. Romeo has $500. He pays $35 a month for a gym membership, right? So this one could be y equals 500 minus the 35x per month. Juliet doesn't have any money, but she just got a job earning $10 per hour. So this one could be y equals $10 per hour. We don't know how many hours she works, so we'll put x, but she doesn't have anything. So you could put plus 0 or you could leave it off. It says Hamlet has $150 in the bank. He earns $75 a week. This one could be y equals 75 times how many ever weeks he's waiting on tables plus 150. This one would be Macbeth owes his parents $350. Each week he pays them $25 to pay off his debt. So it says this one could be y equals negative 25 because he's losing $25, right? So Macbeth owes his parents $350. Each week he pays them $25. So he owes them $350. So the problem is one of these has to be positive. So you could go, oh, well, y equals 25x minus 350. And so he'll eventually pay off his debt that way. So then it says, which one does not identify the slope and y-intercept and explain their meaning in context? And it says, which one does not belong? To me, I think they all belong. They're all about money. They're all about how much someone earns or how much someone is paying for something. So I would say they all belong. But in context, this means he has $500. He's losing $35 per month. This one says he's earning or she's earning $10 per hour and she has no money to start with. This one means that he earns $75 per week, but he already has $150. This one says that he's $25 per week, but he starts out in the hole of $350. It says scatter plots are shown. Which scatter plot does not belong? Explain your reasoning. So the one that I would say does not belong. So like, see how these are grouped up? These are grouped up. Scatter plot, these are grouped up, and it's going down. This one kind of has like it's all over the place. I would say this one doesn't belong. Describe each of the scatter plots relationship. So this is positive. See how it's going up? This is negative. This is negative. It's kind of going down. And these are all over the place. I would say that this is no association. It says draw a line of best fit, represents grass, determine an approximate slope. Okay, so what you want to do here is you want to draw it down the center, right? And you want to make sure you hit points. So what I would do is I would draw as straight as I could. I would hit this point and this point because it's about in the middle. And then my B would be 0. And then I could say, oh, well, it goes up 2, 4, 5 and over 2, 4, 6. So I would say the slope is equal to 5 over 6. And then I could write the equation y equals 5, 6x. And then I would just leave it like that because I don't need to put plus 0. For this one, it wants you to, as part of a training program for triathlon, Marcy completes a 3-mile run each week. Scatterplot below shows the time in which she completes the run week that she has been training. This here, this little zigzag, means a break in the graph. Based on this data, which best statement represents the relationship between the number of weeks Marcy has been training in the program? Well, it's going down. It's all pretty much together. So it's negative and linear. So our options are there is a negative linear association with no outliers. There's no dots anywhere far from this. I like that as an answer. There are no outliers, and then it's not positive. So D and C are for sure not it. Shown below is a scatter plot of temperature and number of hot dogs sold. So we've got temperature down here. We've got the cost. Okay. It says choose a point in the scatter plot and explain what it represents. So I'm going to choose this point here because it's right on 400. So for me, it means when it's about 18.5 degrees Celsius, they sell $400 in hot dogs. Use the line provided to predict what the sales would be when the temperature is 24 degrees. Here's what I would do is go to 24. That line would be about right there. So I would say $580. Write an equation for the line of best fit. It's right here about halfway, so I would say that the B is 150. The slope, I would look and say, okay, crosses in the corner here, but nowhere else. So I'd say from here to here. So it looks like for every 8 degrees, because it starts at 10. So this is 8. And then from 150 to 400 is 250. So I would say slope is equal to 250 over 8. I could reduce that. 250 is divisible by 2, so that's 125 over 4. And so I would write the equation y equals 125 over 4 x plus 150. And then when they asked me what it meant at some point in time, I'd say, well, it means for they earn $125 for every time it goes up 4 degrees. They start with $150. Your assignment today is to do Edulastic. If you have questions or comments or concerns, you're more than welcome to email me. But I would do the Edulastic and take your time, do the best that you can. Again, it is going to be called Lesson 5. So if you go to mine looks different, but if you go to this one here, it's called Lesson 5. It should start and look like this here. If you're struggling with this and you're at home, I really encourage you to look up on Google. Like, it's okay. It's not cheating. Look it up, because I'd rather you learn how to do it than get a 0 on the assignment. I hope you have a good day.